Okay, so I just had a very silly nocturna run. It won me hard mode achievement, yay, for the first time. But I had a really silly build, so I wanted to record it and talk about it because I think it's really funny to watch. Okay. So everything starts off pretty normal. Nocturna, the character, if you don't know, she has this like cutlass weapon and the ability to turn into a bat at low health. So the cutlass weapon is special because she can parry any enemy that she attacks. So with the regular dagger that like Cadence has, if you were to walk into an enemy, which you usually do, to do damage to them, they would also damage you as well if their walking animation was like moving towards you. But Nocturna, she is able to basically walk forward into any enemy that she likes with this cutlass by using the parry feature, which just allows you to parry all the enemy attacks whenever they are going to like walk into your hitbox. So very quickly moving through the depth 1 and onto King Konga. I think I perfected this, I don't really remember. But yeah, so the only difference between normal mode Nocturna and hard mode Nocturna is that there's more enemies and more mini-bosses, I think. One more mini-boss. So usually there's only one mini-boss per level, but you get 2 additional mini-bosses per boss and 1 additional mini-boss per actual level. Also, as a disclaimer, like, this, like, run started off with me being, like, quite tilted because I had already done a few practice runs and I thought this achievement was gonna be really, like, fast and easy to achieve with just the cutlass build because it's really not that different. It's just, like, more enemies, and I've been playing Crypt for, like, a long time, so I was pretty confident that I would be able to just get through it really quickly. Okay, so this is the first key component of the build that makes it silly. So I got the Ring of Courage, which is that little pink ring in the top left-hand corner. And basically, Ring of Courage makes it so that whenever you hit an enemy, you move 1 space down and you gain this like iframe. So you gain this invulnerability after you defeat them. So whenever I run into an enemy and I hit them and I run forward, I'm just going to move 1 extra space. It's a strength, great. Also, I will say, at this point, you might have noticed that I transmogrified my cutlass into a spear, and that was actually an accident. I wanted to transmog my shovel, but I accidentally transmogged Nocturna's cutlass into a spear. And so I was essentially thinking in my head, like, okay, this run is over. I absolutely need the cutlass, but I'll just play it out to see what happens. But I ended up trading that in for this blood cat, and blood weapons are special because every time you defeat 10 enemies, you can heal half a heart. So it's really useful if you are going to be fighting a lot of enemies, which of course in this style of run we are. Another special feature about the cat is that you essentially don't have to run into enemies anymore, like move into their space in order to hit them. Like the dagger and the cutlass, you can essentially bounce around the squares that they are in. So instead of running into them, we're essentially going to be like running around them mostly to defeat them. At this point, a lot of chaos happens. Let me slow this down. Okay. So I've got +2 damage from my boots of strength and my big shovel. And then I kind of locked myself into a corner. This is not a good performance by me at all. Just getting absolutely just destroyed and mocked by like every single enemy in the game right now and going down all the way to half a heart. I'm not really sure why I didn't transform into bat, because when Nocturna is at the lowest health, she will transform into bat, but whatever, and she will like lose the ability to use her weapon. She can only essentially become like a dagger user at that point. But I'm not sure what happened, but we made it through somehow. Half heart, run's still going. Okay. So you might notice that with the Ring of Courage and the cat, which moves you side to side when you hit an enemy, I am moving 2 spaces every time I attack with a cat, and 1 space every time I kill an enemy by moving forward with the Ring of Courage. So I am moving like crazy in this. Like, I'm going all over the place. I like barely could process what was happening. I was just overstimulated, especially in this depth where notoriously a lot of the enemies just run at you because the level is quite small and compact. So everything was just, you know, going crazy. But somehow I don't know, I made it work. I slipped on some ice and I thought I was gonna die. I thought I was gonna die basically 100% of the time when I was on this run. So I really don't know how this worked, but whatever. Sometimes things just work out, you know? Gotta have faith. Yeah, so just kind of standard fare for a little while. Just killing 1 billion enemies, taking 1 billion damage, healing 1 billion damage again. Of course, using my baby girl freeze spell to heal up a little bit. Freezing just freezes all the enemies on the screen for, I think, like 5 or so beats. I don't really know. But it's really helpful, especially with those enemies that have shields. Because enemies that have shields, you know, you can't go up and hit them directly with the shield direction that they're facing. You have to bounce around them. Picked up a magic cheese. That's really good. If we can get some more hearts, I can heal up. You'll later see that this does not happen because I accidentally ate my cheese at an inconvenient time. There are 2 types of food items. There's the normal food items and there's the magic food items. Cheese usually heals you 2 hearts. But magic cheese, if you already have full hearts, it will give you an additional 2 filled heart containers. That little green guy that just disappeared was a leprechaun. I very stupidly did not freeze him and let him run away. But if you kill him, you'll get like a butt ton of gold and also this like nice little charm that essentially protects you from the bat type enemy. And also makes crates better, so every time you open a crate, you'll have like some slightly better loot. Another special thing about this run is that this is like maybe only my 10th or so run playing as this character, as Nocturna. I really tend to prefer like playing the daily challenge, and I'm currently working on beating the aria mode. So I'm really not experienced like playing this character, and with all of her like silly mechanics like the bat and the cutlass and all that stuff, especially the enemies, which we'll see at the end of the game. They're her special bosses that she has to fight in her mode in order to actually win instead of the Necrodancer. It's 2 other bosses, so I have very little experience with those bosses as well, so I'm very happy that everything worked out. I'm taking 1 billion damage. I know, every single time I see myself take damage, I cringe a little bit because I'm like, oh my god, this performance is so bad. It's like by no means a flawless performance or anything impressive. I just thought the build was silly because I'm just jumping around all over the place with like chicken with head cut off vibes and just kind of hoping it works out and just dying and undying and dying and like 1 billion times. I accidentally froze there. I meant to eat my cheese so that I could gain 2 extra hearts. You'll see I have a purple heart that is a cursed heart, so the heart like doesn't count as a normal heart. You have to have like food in order to fill it to become normal. I didn't want to use up my cheese just yet. Also, if you take damage on that purple heart, it disappears forever, unlike the empty heart red containers. So yeah, just regular crazy hopping around all over the place, barely processing what's happening. Even though I've played this game 1 billion times and heard all these songs 1 billion times, I still have trouble processing how fast it can be sometimes. This is just me checking the shop to see if there's anything good. Grab that empty heart container. Still not eating the cheese, but whatever. So in this hard mode, you'll see those like blue-purple sarcophagus on the map. Those are permanently there, I guess. This is only my 3rd run or so of this hard mode. And they can only be destroyed if an enemy destroys them or with a bomb. Otherwise, they're perpetually spawning enemies. Okay, let's slow it down here because I think it gets a little crazy. Okay, let's unpack what's going on here. Okay, so I'm hopping in, hit an enemy, kill it. I'm in a corner. This bomb enemy comes in, takes care of a few of those harpies for me. And then we get Mr. Darkness Horse. I don't actually know what this is called. Like Dark Horse. I'm deafened because that mini boss meets the song. And I'm taking a butt ton of damage and just dying in a corner yet again. When will I get to use my cheese? Never. But we made it out, so it's all good. On to bigger and better things. Oh, nope. I'm gonna collect some gold first. At a lot of points in this run, I am just health farming because I don't know when the next time I will blow myself up is, and it's tended to be every single level at this point, so whatever. Okay. That was like the most frustrating point of this run. So I have a pack. I have 2 items in my inventory. I had a carrot and I had cheese. I ate my cheese instead of my carrot. And I wanted to eat my carrot first so that I could hopefully gain like an extra heart, but whatever. Okay, all food is gone. All food out the window. Now we're facing some very annoying orange guys. So these like, I don't even know what to call them. They have like swords, and you walk into them, and they parry your attack, just like Nocturna's regular cutlass, and then they dash at you. And I just could not, for the life of me, during all this chaos, like figure out how to use the cat in this situation with the amount of distance that I was traveling. So I took like 1 billion damage from every single one of these guys, and the orange ones have 2 health instead of just 1, so they take a little bit longer to heal. Got a big room of bats, so that's just free healing. Unless I just take damage from the dragon, haha, which I'm going to do. Yeah, so it's just like a chaotic run. I just wanted to talk about it because I think this game can be very silly in terms of like what you expect to work and what not to work, and I tend to like try to play by the books for like all the different achievements. Like I beat most of the characters, and most of their modes and stuff, but sometimes things happen that still surprise me, which is really fun to witness. Okay, standard, trying to heal up and then taking more damage, because why not? An easy little deep blues freeze. I think I still have... Oh, I had a perfect until I stupidly just ran into that rook, but whatever. And now we are on my personal favorite zone, which is Zone 5, because I am permanently electrified. And if you haven't noticed by this point, every time you stand on that little electricity line, your attacks will chain. So every time I'm attacking, I'm just doing 1 billion damage and everyone is dying all at once. Like, this is a really good example. That was just like, it's bombed like 8,000 people. That's like, everyone died because of this chain attack, and I'm still moving like crazy because of this build. And I was really afraid to modify it because clearly something was working, and I've had opportunities to get different weapons, I've had opportunities to get different rings, whatever, and I was just like, no, we're just gonna try to win like this, even if it feels unserious. This is also the zone I personally have had the most practice on. I think if you were like an Aria player, this is also probably the zone that you've seen the most, because it's the zone that Aria starts in. Okay, this is one of the special bosses for Nocturna, Frankenstein Way. Basically his mechanic is that he's like a huge piano guy, and he's got these little like electricity bubbles where you have to step on that brown square in front of each of the orbs to remove his shield, and then run up to him and hit him. And as the music keeps playing and as everything's going on, you're progressing, these like little lightning attacks and skellies will spawn more frequently, and also little mini bosses will spawn occasionally, and the boss will gain like new attack patterns. So it just becomes exponentially harder as you progress through the boss fight, as most boss fights tend to do. But we defeat him with a cheeky little freeze at the end, and we're on to the Conductor, which is my favorite boss in this game. I know I said like I don't really play this character, but this boss fight is so much fun. Basically, all you have to do is run up on these purple lines in order to charge up some electricity, and then defeat the instrument at the the end of the line, while also managing, dodging like the attacks from the little enemies, of course, and later on you'll see on the wall, on those walls, those little gargoyles spit fire as well. And then the second phase of this boss fight focuses on destroying these batteries with these bombs that Conductor throws periodically. Another way, and my preferred way, to destroy them, sometimes completely by accident, is by having the water enemy right there fall on me, because water kill electricity, I guess, and destroying a battery entirely. Otherwise, the other way to drain the battery is by stepping on that line there and defeating enemies, so it's using up the charge, basically, of that lightning. And it's going to chain the attacks similarly to how all of the other electricity lines do in Zone 5. But overall, this was like a pretty chill Conductor fight. I feel like the fight is usually pretty difficult, even with the iframes that you do get from Cutlass. But yeah, that's my run. That's it. That's a silly little Nocturna run. And that's hard mode done. Thanks for watching.